original goal for our project was to record a jazz album, have a CD release party, and then sell 50 albums either at the party or independently. So as soon as we decided what we wanted to do, Dan and I sat down and kind of just made a big list of all the players we knew who went to Lehigh, and weighed the pros and cons of them both as players and then as people as we thought would work together in a team.
After we looked through the list of people who we were considering making the album with, we realized the people who would be best contributing to the group, not only on the musical side but also on the project side, was a couple members from our band, one of our previous bands that we had worked with.
Erik, Outhwaite.
What's your major?
I'm in computer science and business.
And what are you doing here, man?
Well, I'm here to play some jazz. I'm the pianist. I like to play piano. I really like playing jazz. I've been doing it for a while. I've been doing it since high school. I think jazz is really cool. I see a lot of similarities between my major and jazz. I like this idea of creative boundaries. In jazz, you know, you have to play within the scale, you have to play within a certain time, but you're creative within those boundaries. Same thing in computer science, you know, you have to be syntactically correct, but then after that, you know, you're free to do whatever you want.
Fresh. I play tenor saxophone for the jazz combo, and I am a math major, and I really like jazz. It's a really unique form of expression. You get to make up your own parts. It doesn't take a lot of practice to learn a song. It's just once you get into it, you just have a sheet of chord changes, you have to make it up on the spot. That's something I really like about it, and it's been a lot of fun.
It's less so what I have learned from jazz, and more so what I haven't learned. I've just learned to express myself, and that's what's really important.
So our group dynamics were typically good throughout this process. We had already known each other. We were part of a combo together before previously, so we knew how to work with each other in a musical sense, but this was our first time working together as in like a group project type mentality. Alright, so discuss the leadership styles of everyone in the band. Matt, aka Matty Fresh. His leadership style was that of a contributor. This is his first year in the group. He's not as familiar with the ropes, but he always willing and really engaged when we were playing. He brought some really good new ideas to the group that we didn't have in previous years, and he really helped push the goal further.
Yeah, and Chris was also a contributor. He did much of the same. More likely during group dynamics and discussions to take more of a back seat, but when the time came for him to give an opinion or something, he definitely had one.
I would say that my leadership style is that of a collaborator.
So Erik was definitely a collaborator. He helped bring the group into focus when we were all off task. He was really goal-oriented. He actually went out and looked to see how expensive just going straight out into a recording studio and using that on our own. He looked into that. That's fine.
I was a communicator. I think I'm best at getting the group to work well together. I definitely did try to keep us on task, but more so getting everyone to make sure everyone's voice was heard and make sure it was a team enterprise instead of just Dan and I telling everyone what to do.
So I was a challenger. I really analyzed our goals, and I realized that we took on a little bit too much than we could handle, and I spoke up about that. I didn't let the process continue on. Alright, so some of the issues we ran into with our group dynamics was that we knew each other a little bit too well as a group before. We were really comfortable with each other, and we were okay with each other being late for things, but that was not acceptable when we were doing this project. We realized that there were a little bit too many people showing up late to rehearsals, people skipping out, so we decided to implement a policy about lates. That policy was a 3-strike process. First time you were late, it was given off as a warning. Second time, we sat down as a group, discussed why you were late, why you're not adhering to the goals that we were going for, and the third time you were kicked out of the group. Luckily, we never reached that phase. We only had, once we had gotten that system up and running, we only had one absence after there. Everyone had realigned their goals to push the project forward. So about 2 weeks in, we decided that our goal was starting to become a little overwhelming, and we sat down, we discussed it, and we decided that we were going to have a vote on to keep the release party or not. As a challenger, I thought that it was a little bit too overwhelming, a little bit too much work for us to do, and we wouldn't get the most out of our CD. So the vote came down. Alec and I had 2 votes. The other 3 members only had 1. The vote was 4-3. Alec and Chris were on one side, and Erik, Matt, and I were on the other side. So we decided in favor of not doing the party and focusing in more on the album.
No, I'm gonna solo.
Okay, so once we decided that we were just going to do the album, the most difficult thing that we had to do was actually getting it recorded.
Yeah, the first lead that we had was the grants. Lehigh offered up a music grant and we applied for it, and unfortunately we did not get the money to fund our project.
So then we had also heard about a class that was working on teaching students how to record, and they were looking for a band to come in and record so the students could get some hands-on experience. And we got in contact with them, but unfortunately the timing didn't work out. They only wanted to do it during their class, and all 5 of us rather, had class during that, so.
And we also looked at just going to a recording studio and footing the bill for it ourselves and then paying it up with the proceeds made from the CD. But we looked at how much it would cost, and the bill was way too high, so we decided against doing that.
So then ultimately what we decided to do was we talked to Bill Warfield, who was in charge of the jazz program, and we were actually able to record some of the concerts that we would be playing. So we got all those live recordings.
Yeah, and we combined them, touched them up a little bit, and then put them out on the CD. So we decided to sell our CDs outside some of our concerts, and actually there was a specific situation where we sold them at a gig that we had at a fraternity date party. And we ended up managing to sell 37, which was really good. We didn't exactly reach our goal of 50, but we did get a good amount of them sold.
We also put we put a notification on social media and had a few people who picked them up that way, which was pretty exciting. One of the biggest things I learned from the project is probably how difficult it can be to get everyone on the same page, and how you have to be very clear about that from the beginning. We ran into some issues where everyone was kind of motivated around the goal of playing music and getting our music out there, but when it came to actually doing concrete steps, even if we were just slightly off from each other, it turned into issues getting things done.
Trying to create a project always from the ground up is always such a challenge, and all the administrative stuff and figuring out like who's going to do what, organizing everything. That's very challenging, and you need great organizational skills, great leadership skills. Say somebody isn't doing anything, you have to really motivate them, and that's also something that I found challenging, but I found I was ultimately successful in.
So one of the things that I learned throughout this process, through the many times that we tried to do things like the recording sessions, like getting the release party, the things didn't really work out in the end. But that, with me, as long as we kept trying to get things done, as long as we had the determination to push through, we were able to come out with a deliverable. We were able to produce a CD from some of our live recordings. We were able to get some of them sold. With the pivots that we did throughout our process, I believe that working hard at whatever will get everything done.